AskReddit by Themis Rebecca 103. If you were handed a box of everything you have ever lost, what would you look for first? My dad's guitar that he gifted me as a child was stolen from a storage unit a few years after he died in 2018. I seriously lose sleep over it to this day. I didn't want it to be put in that stupid unsecured storage unit, but it was out of my control. I was a teenager. Long story, but I regularly get reminded of it and have to force myself to not think about it, or I get really upset and start to spiral. Brother, your dad wouldn't want you to stress about that anymore. He gave you that guitar to find joy. Forgive yourself. I know your dad would. I'd definitely be searching for my favorite childhood toy that mysteriously disappeared one day. It was this plush monkey named Bananas, and we were inseparable until one day he vanished into thin air. I've always wondered where he ended up. When I was young, my sister had a yellow plush toy monkey-ish thing with a squeaker in it that she named Squeaky. She couldn't sleep without him. One day he went missing. She was inconsolable. This thing was gone for like 2 years and she always talked about it and cried over him frequently. My grandparents owned a small vacation home in a lake resort community that we would frequent because it was an hour away, and my grandparents basically raised me. One trip up there, I'm leaning over the back of the couch that is against a bay window. Sitting on the ledge is old Squeaky, as dusty and dingy as ever. I yell, "Oh my god, Cass, it's Squeaky Chaos Erupts." She's bawling and holding him to her face. I'm tearing up. My grandparents are so happy. Probably one of my favorite core memories ever. My nana made me a quilt when I turned 18. Took her ages. We went to the fabric store to pick out patterns and colors and it was beautiful. Went to laundromat to wash it and all my baby's clothes. Lived right around the corner. My son pooped, so I thought I'd run him home and be back in 10 minutes. When I got back, 10 minutes later, my quilt was gone. Nowhere. I contacted the number for the place multiple times, but nobody ever found it. I still cry about it and never told her. That's what I'd look for first. Fuck laundry thieves. I'm so sorry that happened to you. The little spirit horse figurine that I lost on a road trip with my family ages ago. I loved that horse figure so much and never wanted to lose it. We stopped at a rest stop and I put it down to wash my hands and completely forgot it on the sink there. By the time I realized, we had already pulled out of the rest stop and I knew my dad would refuse to go back for a toy, so I just sat there and cried for the next hour or so. Every once in a while I wonder what happened to that toy. A child was having a hard day on a road trip with their family, their parents arguing as always, and the child went to the bathroom and discovered this magical precious horse figure, just for them. And they held that little horse through all the hard days ahead, and they pet its mane and whispered it their troubles. They felt safe with that secret magic horse and they grew into a kind, happy person, and that little horse is on their shelf and they glance at it and love it every day and wonder where that toy came from. My pictures. 4 different times in my life I've lost all my photos. Same. I made a catastrophic iCloud error transferring phones one time that resulted in me not having a single photo I took before 2016. My orange stuffed rabbit named Sherbet that my grandfather gave me when I was born. I left him at a hotel when I was about 7 years old. My daughter's fav blanket and puppy, Plush, was left in the hotel when she was 3. We called the hotel within 3 hours of leaving. Never found. We bought her identical replicas. Nope. That was the end of her comfort items. Come to think of it, she became a mean big sister then. However, her second little brother was born shortly after. Tough life goes on moment at such a tender age. A box that had my stillborn son's pictures, hospital hat, and other items from the day I gave birth. My condolences. I have those things packed away. I hope they didn't get lost in one of my cleaning binges. That loss stays with you, no matter what anyone tells you. It's been about 19 years for me. Bitcoin wallet password. Way too many early adopter Bitcoiners probably. Yup. I've lost an inconceivable amount of Bitcoin and I had one test wallet which had like 57 BTC on it when it was less than $1. What I wouldn't give to have access to it wherever it is. Deleted. He probably ate it. I used to do that. I got your notes, then gobble it up. Sorry kid, but it's gone now. Mom's silver necklace that I, as a teen, gave to someone I thought I was close to but wasn't. Never saw the person or the necklace again. I had a necklace from my grandma, RIP. It was a gold chain with a green heart at the end. I took it off when I was changing clothes for gym, middle school, and forgot it in the bathroom stall. A girl stole it. I saw it in her gym locker at the end of the period and took it back. She tried to say I stole it from her and there was a whole thing involving our parents and the school staff. She eventually admitted she was lying. I got the chain back but not the heart because she lost it. A skeleton key that my kindergarten friend gave me to remember her by on the last day of school that year. I never saw her again, and 6-year-old me didn't do a great job of keeping track of important things back then lol. I had a hard drive that had a bunch of memories and videos on it from age 16-22ish. My dad's computer guy at the time told me to store everything on there because it would always be safe. Well, it stopped working one day so I sent it to him to get fixed. Instead of fixing it he replaced it and destroyed the original one. I've never forgiven him for this. I would have rather held on to the broken hard drive because now with technology advancements I'm sure someone could have extracted all those files. I still prank call him periodically and list his number on Craigslist for expensive free items so people blow up his phone with unnecessary calls. I hate him so much. Fuck you Doug, you fucking nerd. How could he not check with you? Fuck Doug. Doug sucks. My copy of the Ad and Amp, D-Dungeon Master's Guide signed by Gary Gygax and my Monster Manual signed by Trampier and Gygax. My parents had a small fire at their house and the restoration company told them that my books were ruined, which would have been impossible due to where they were stored during the fire. I think someone at the restoration company decided to keep my collection for themselves. Dude, I'm sorry that happened. My mom's house had a fire and fucking assholes at Servpro tossed so many things they weren't supposed to. Irreplaceable things. My hairline. LMAO. I found mine in my ears. There is a cat who I still miss and love. He disappeared 4 years ago. He is lost and I still yearn for my Kevin kitty. My old garage cat Paul. He was here for years, and I spent every evening in the garage hanging out with him. One night my brother was over and we were standing around talking. Paul hopped off the bench, brushed against my leg as he walked toward the door. Walked out into the dark, as he often did, and I never saw him again. I don't know if I want to know what happened. Hopefully he just sensed someone else in the world that needed his friendship more than I did, and went to be with them. My engagement ring : That's what I came here to share. Such a big loss for us. Still together 7 years later, also still ringless. My confidence and some other junk. Same. My confidence would be at the bottom. I don't know if theft counts, but someone stole my backpack that contained the diary I kept through junior high and early high school. I'm sure it's cringe central, but it also includes meeting the guy I'd eventually marry. I'd love to have it back. Imagine being in a bookstore one day and you come across your diary that has been published by Anonymous. The one MP3 player which fell into a public toilet, with this one song I can't remember for ages. Relatable. My dog. Though he ran away 30 years ago. You probably wouldn't want him back in his current condition. My fucking dignity. You don't need dignity while fucking. Just use your normal one. My youthful idealism and sense of wonder. Yes, me too. Life seemed to be so much happier and brighter when I still had it. My horrible yellow floral shorts. One day they just disappeared. It has always been a great mystery. Probably a mother or significant other had something to do with that. I'm sorry. My fucking Disney pins. I used to have a ton of those collectible Disney pins that you can trade at the park. I had a whole book. I loved my pins. And somewhere along the line when I was living with roommates it went missing. I have no clue where it went. I don't remember doing anything with them. The last thing I remember was showing them off to said roommates. And then I got a chance to go to Disneyland. Couldn't find them. I am convinced to this day one of the roommates took them and sold them. I can't prove it. But it's not like these were loose pins. It was a good sized pin trading bag with Nightmare Before Christmas decor. There was a few $100s into that bag, not to mention the memories and personal value. And I will remain angry about it until I die. 10mm socket. Best thing I ever did in my life. I ordered 25 10mm sockets and threw them in my toolbox. Now I'm plagued by excess 10mm sockets.